Hello, year three. I hope you're well. Today, in our maths session, our kind of additional maths session, we're going to be looking at multiplying and division from last week, and we're going to identify how we could have solved the problems that we might have found challenging, or how we did solve the ones that we did really well at. Okay, so we're going to look today at identifying what a question wanted us to know. We're going to think of the strategy we could have used. We're going to use that process, use that strategy, and then we're going to identify the answer. So rather than doing new work today, you can look at your work from last week's sheet and see if your strategy was the same and see if your answer was. So going through these then, reminding multiplication is lots of or groups of, and similarly, division is when we group things together and we see how many is in each group, or when we share it between each group and we see how many is in each group and or how many groups we've got. They're linked really closely. It's important to remember that, especially when we look at our first question on the first page. The first question is about using arrays. I know some of us find it tricky because we haven't got cubes at home. But some of us are thinking outside the box. We're thinking sweets. We're thinking toys. We're making our own arrays up. And if we do that, even if we're not quite sure on our times tables, we can still work it through because we can see here that if we look at the rows, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rows. In each row, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So my number sentence is going to be 5 lots of 7. If I know it like Tavon that it's 35, great. If not, I can add it up. 7 add 7 add 7 add 7 add 7 is 35. Okay. Now, looking conversely, after going horizontally, I can now go vertically, and I can see that there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 columns, but 7 lots of each of the amount in a column. There's 5 in each column, so 7 times 5 is, and I can do 5 add 5 add 5 add 5 add 5 add 5 add 5 if I want to. However, if I know my times tables, I know that 7 times 5 is 35. Now, if I know 35 is the product when I multiply 7 by 5 or 5 by 7, I also know that the inverse, the opposite, is when I divide 35 by one of those factors and I get the other factor. So 35 divided by 5 is 7, and similarly, 35 divided by 7 is 5. So my number facts help me to learn my other number facts, okay? That's really useful when I think about my 4 times my 8 times table maybe, and my number 32, because I've got 32 apples in this second question, and 32 could be represented in that bar number, like our model, like it's been done on the screen. Then I'm thinking I've got 8 equal groups, and that's why there's 8 equal sections underneath 32. When I see that, then I'm basically being asked to divide 32 by 8. So how much would each group of those 8 groups have in it if they were equal groups of 8 groups in total to make 32? I'm thinking, what number facts do I know about 8 and 32? And this is where our previous knowledge is really useful and our times table is great. Okay, I know that 8 is a factor, and then another factor makes the product of 32. 8 times, not sure, not sure. If I'm not sure, I can start doing lots of 8. So 8 plus 8 is 16, plus 8 is 24, plus 8 is 32. How many? 8 plus 8 plus 8 plus 8. So 8 lots of 4 is 32. So my two factors of 8 and 4, my product's 32. Therefore, in each of these boxes, I can see that it should be, each of my 8 boxes should have 4 in. Therefore, I know that 32 apples shared into 8 equal groups would each have 4 in a group. Guys, great stuff. Now thinking about base 10, you've probably not got it at home unless you're really fortunate. If you don't have it at home, you can still draw little squares for the ones and little sticks for the tens. Here with this one, you had them drawn for you. 6 lots of 4 then. Each of these was a group of 4. We can see that because I've just highlighted it in red. And if I know my 6 times 4, great. If not, I can do it by just going 4 plus 4 is 8. 8 plus 4 is 12. 12 plus 4 is 16. 16 plus 4 is 20. 20 plus 4 is 24. So I know that 6 times 4 is 24. Great stuff. Now, next number is a big number, 40. Oh, it's even a bigger number than how old Mr. Spring is. It's a horribly big number. It's impossible, you're saying. You're wrong, okay? Because you know something already, don't you? You know that 4 1 is quite similar to 4 tens. You know that 4 1 tells you something about 4 tens. Now, if I know that 4 ones multiplied by 6 is 24, I know that 4 tens multiplied by 6 will be 24 tens. 24 tens is 240. Okay, the link between the two again. Right, guys, here we've got our 13 times 3. We look first of all at our ones value. Now we've got 3 rows of 3 ones, and that makes how many ones in total? 3 times 3 is 3 add 3 add 3, which is 9. So we should have 9 in our ones column. Then we see that we've got 3 rows of 110. 10 add 10 add 10, 30. So we've got 9 in the ones and 30 in, or sorry, 3 in the 10 column. It's 39. Next one then, similar idea, but this one's a bit more complicated. And it's really important we do it in the correct order now, because sometimes the amount in the ones column affects the amount in the tens column or the next column as we do bigger values. Therefore, it's really important we do the order correctly. So here we've got 23 sweets in 4 jars. So we think 23 multiplied by 4. First of all, then we do our 3 times 4, which is 12. So 3 times 4, which is 12. Now, we put the 2 in the ones column. We can't put more than one digit in one square, otherwise we get the wrong answer. That's why it's really important to always do one square, one digit, because then we don't make that mistake by accident. You'd see the 1 underneath the tens column, because that's 110 when we've multiplied 3 by 4. Now what we do is we do our 4 times 2, 4 times 2 tens, because we had 23, so 4 times 2 tens, and that's 80, which we add to our 110, 80, so 8 tens, add one more 10 is 9 tens, so it's now 92. Did you get that one? I hope so. Next page, onto the second one. Evie's done something silly. Poor old Evie, I'm sure she wouldn't in real life. So Evie, 21 times 4. What she's done is she's thought that 2 tens multiplied by 4 ones would be 80. So she's written 80. But she's not written 8 tens where she should have. Where we've got our 0 should be 8, because 8 tens doesn't go into the 100s column, into the hundreds column. It should stay as 8 tens and 4 ones. The 0 is 0 ones because it was 8 tens, so 0 ones. So the 0 shouldn't be written down because it was 0 added on to the 4 ones which we already had, and the 8 tens should have been in the tens column. It should have been 84. Okay, guys, 37 times 5 then. And presentation is important now because we've got to make sure that we put the correct value in the correct space. Here we've got our tens and our ones values in those squares or rectangles as I've drawn them here. We then correctly lay out that the 37 is being multiplied by the 5, sorry. First thing we do, will we do the 5 times 3 or will we do the 5 times 7? What do you think? Lots of you figuring out, yeah, it's 7 times 5 first. We always go for the ones value first, and we know if we've got our times table knowledge correct that 5 times 7 is 35. But again, if you're not sure, piece of paper. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which you could do like that, and you could do that 7 times. I'm not going to do it because otherwise the video will go pop and won't work. But you could draw it out as an array if you need to. Once you've got 7 times 5 is 35, you've then got to do the second element, which is where you're doing the 30, so the 3 tens multiplied by 5. 30 multiplied by 5 is 150. You've got to add the 30 that's already there, so it's 150, add 30, which is 180, and then you end up with 185. Okay. Important you do the ones, then the tens, otherwise you might get confused, you might get twisted up. Next one then, guys. So after we've done question 7, we now go on to question 8. Here you can see 96. It's different now, isn't it? But that obelisk between the 96 and the 3, our division symbol. And what we're being asked to do is share 96 into groups of 3 or into 3 groups, into 3 equal groups. Here you can see it's been presented as 3 equal groups. So 9 tens and 6 ones are then being shared into 1, 2, 3 equal groups. If we go back, we can see then that one of those 3 groups is made up of 3 tens and 2 ones. So 96 divided by 3 would be 32. Next one then, we've got 84, and we're dividing 84 up by our tens and our ones, and that would be 4 ones and 8 tens. Okay, so we've got 8 tens and 4 ones, and then we're thinking if each row is one of those 4 groups that we're dividing it into, we can see therefore we've got 2 tens and 1 1, so 84 divided by 4 is 21. Great stuff, guys. Number 9, Come here, lucky old sausage. He's got lots of gummy bears, making them into groups of 3. So the first thing he does is he makes them into groups of 3. My gummy bears aren't very pretty. They're just crosses. I couldn't draw gummy bears very well on the computer. So we can see now we've got 7 groups of 3 gummy bears. He's then got 2 left over for those 2 additional ones. So what we've got to do is 2 steps here. First thing we've got to do is 7 times 3, and we know that that is 21. Lovely job. Then we've got the 21, which we're adding to the 2 extra gummy bears, which is, are we going to add to the 2 10s or add to the 1 1? It's 2 1s plus the 1 1, so 23. Lovely job. So now he's got 23 altogether. Now he's going to give us some teacher. No, maybe not. Okay, hopefully he will. Okay, last one then. I think this is the trickiest question. This is the one where bar models are your best friend in the world. Bar models then. 23 green cubes in a box, and then 5 times as many blue cubes than the green cubes in the box. And how many are that altogether? So first of all, we've got 25 in a box, 25 green cubes, okay? We know that. Then what we know is there's 5 times as many blue cubes. So each of these, so for each green cube, there's 5 blue cubes, okay? So that means there's 25, 25, 25, 25, and 25, so 5 lots of 25. Now we're being asked to identify how many there are altogether. So we've got to think about altogether means we add up those 2 values. So we've got 25 green ones and 5 lots of 25 blue ones. So what we need to do then is look how many lots of 25 we've got, which is 6. So it's 25 times 6. Can anybody do that? You do it as we've done the earlier ones, great. So 25 multiplied by 6 would be 150. Well done if you got lots of those. Well done even if you gave some of them a good go. Thank you for working through them. In your pack today, you'll also get the answer sheet for yesterday's money questions about pence. I hope you're getting on okay with that, and hopefully all of you are going to get lots of money so that you can buy Mr. Spring some gummy bears when we get back. See you soon, year 3. Thanks for all your efforts. Bye-bye.